Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's weekly live immigration attorney chat here at Immigration for Couples. I'm attorney Megan Pastrana, and our firm is dedicated to helping couples across the nation and across the world in navigating the U.S. immigration process. And we host these weekly live chats, and we also have a free resource center at immigrationforcouples.com because we know how important it is, whether you're just starting out in your journey or in the middle of the process. It's so important to have information, support, and clarity. And we host these weekly live chats on our Facebook page, Immigration for Couples. So if you are watching this on YouTube or one of our other social media outlets, I invite you on over. And for those viewers who watch live, if you have questions, you're welcome to throw those questions in the comments, and I'm happy to answer those after I go over the topic I have lined up here for today. So the topic that I have here today is a question that my team let me know is being asked a lot on our YouTube channel. And so a lot of viewers are asking, is it better to file my I-130 application online or by mail? So to back up a little bit, if you're just starting out with your immigration journey, all of the different numbers and forms and options that are available, it starts to feel a little bit like a labyrinth and alphabet soup. So the I-130 is for the spouse visa process. And so there is an option from USCIS that you can file this application online or you can mail it. And so the question is, which is better? And my advice and what my entire team, what we all advise and what we do here at Immigration for Couples is we strongly recommend that you file your application by paper. And the reason for this is because the immigration's online system is still fairly new and it's very glitchy. And there are some parts of immigration cases, the spouse visa in particular, that is fully online. And that is the National Visa Center phase of the case. And there's the SEAC website. And I've attended a lot of meetings with immigration representatives from the National Visa Center and individuals who work for USCIS. And I remember when they were first rolling out the National Visa Center, we used to do all of that by paper. And I remember when they were first rolling out that online system, and they were talking about how glitchy it is and that it was still in beta testing, and they were only going to start with one country. And then they ended up expanding it for the National Visa Center to be online for really all countries. And we have still seen, even years later, issues with that system. We'll upload a document. If anybody's going through this process, you upload a document and then they say that you didn't upload a document. That's the issue with filing your I-130 online. We've seen a lot of individuals who have said, I filed my I-130 online and I uploaded all of my relationship evidence, but it disappeared, or they said they didn't receive it. And so that's why we strongly recommend immigration is still a very paper heavy organization. They're more set up, rather. They're more efficiently set up for the mailed applications. They have a mail room that processes applications. There can still be mistakes that are made, but mailing a paper application is definitely the way to go. It's what I absolutely recommend. You'll mail your paper application, keep a complete copy of that application, send it by tracking so you have proof that's what is sent. And that's really the best way to go, is mailing that application by paper until they get a handle on that online system. That's my recommendation. So thank you for the question, and I hope that answers that for all of our viewers who are asking on the YouTube channel. All right. Good morning. Good morning, Anna. It's good to see you here. And I see we have a few individuals who are watching live. Again, we have a free resource center at immigrationforcouples.com. I invite you all to check that out. If any of you who are watching live have any questions, feel free, goodness. If I can talk today, feel free to put them in the comments. Okay, so we have a question. Oh, this is has to do with the topic that I was discussing here today. So good morning, Danny. You already submitted your I-130 online. Should I still send it by paper? Also, I did not submit any other forms. So Danny, this is part of the issue that couples are actually having with this online system. It really depends what kind of case that you are filing. So if you're eligible for adjustment of status, then you're going to file those other forms. But if you're only eligible for the spouse visa, that's a whole different process, and those forms aren't going to be filed yet. So if you've already submitted your application online, I would assume that you've also paid that fee. Sending it by paper now, if you've already submitted it online and paid, sending it by paper would actually cause more confusion, a duplicate submission. So again, it really is going to depend on what type of case you have, if it's an adjustment or a spouse visa, if you are going to file those other forms. If you are eligible for a adjustment of status, then it's definitely, I'm glad you are asking this question, because it's definitely better to not file that I-130 online. It's definitely better to submit everything all together for efficiency and for how your application will process. So great question. And if you want to schedule an appointment, a consultation with our legal team, I'm happy to meet with you, and we can dive in to your specific case and what are the best next steps for you, and what your process is, and eligibility and all of that. So that's at immigrationforcouples.com, and I'll throw a consultation scheduling link in there if you're wanting customized, individual, private legal advice. All right, Danny, great question. Good morning, Mohammed. It's great to have you joining us here today. I don't see that I have any other questions. So it was wonderful to spend time with all of you here today. Hopefully I will see you all next week. I had to have the show a little earlier here today, so I will be back next week at 11 a.m. Eastern time, back on schedule. And for the month of February, we are going to be doing something exciting. So there'll be a special announcement on February 1st. So stay tuned, and we'll have special topics lined up for our Facebook Lives for the month of February, for the month of love. So, I do have one more question, and I'm happy to answer that. So what's the current processing time for the I-130 spouse visa? And I'll throw a video in the comments after the show too that I had made about the spouse visa process in more detail. For the I-130 petition, for the very first step, we're seeing anywhere from about 10 to 12 months for the couples that we represent. We've had unicorn cases that get approved in 5 or 6 months, but the entire process, we're telling most couples to get from not just getting that I-130 approved, but getting all the way to the spouse visa. Be prepared for about 1.5 years, but I will say a majority of our couples do get through that process in less time. But kind of being mentally and emotionally prepared for about an 18-month wait from start to getting that spouse visa is really what we're seeing. All right. And I do have one more from Mohammed. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cough from a cold. So you have an interview for a K-1 visa, but you didn't find a sponsor. My fiance's income is weak, and she did not find anyone to help us to sponsor us. So I'm really sorry to hear that. And again, I will actually be posting, I can post another video in the comments that I dive more into this topic. This is a common question. So looking at assets is something that is what we recommend. That's something we do for our clients. If the petitioner does not make enough to be the sole financial sponsor for the case based on their income from a job, then we would look at assets, home, retirement accounts, savings accounts, things of that nature. So assets would be the next step we would look at, and then a joint sponsor. Okay. So I hope that helps answer your question. And if you're wanting a more of a private, individualized legal advice, you're welcome to schedule a consultation with me, and we can really dive into numbers and options. Okay. Oh, now the chat's filling up. Now I have a bunch of questions. I'm going to have to get a drink of water here. Excuse me. So what's the difference between a joint sponsor and a household sponsor? So not everybody needs a joint sponsor for their case. Part of the process for an individual to receive a green card is that the U.S. petitioner, so the U.S. Citizen spouse or fiance, has to prove that they have enough income to support their fiance or spouse, that they won't become a public charge. So for individuals whose income is not enough, just like the question that Mohammed was just asking, then we can look at assets, or sometimes you have to have a joint sponsor. And a joint sponsor is someone who is a green card holder or a U.S. citizen who's willing to be provide financial backing for the immigrant. And then in some cases, so joint sponsorship is one of the most complex parts of the process. Sometimes the joint sponsor will be married and then their income together, or sometimes the petitioner themselves will have another family member, a household member whose income can be combined to reach that requirement for that I-864 affidavit of support. So that was a lot of legal jargon, but really the household, to be as clear and concise as possible, the household, it's not a household sponsor, it's a household member that lives with the joint sponsor and their income together, typically like a married couple that would be sponsoring a couple who's going through the fiance or spouse visa process together. Yep, and I know you wrote difference, not I know what you meant. All right. So Joshua, this is a great question, and you're very welcome, Mary. So Joshua, this is a great question, and I'm an immigration attorney, and I'll be honest with you. No, you don't have to have an immigration attorney to help you with your immigration journey. And it comes down to asking yourself a lot of questions about what do you want for your immigration experience. And I have another video on this too that I can post in the comments that I really dive into those questions in even more detail. But asking yourself, do I have the time and the bandwidth to teach myself immigration? What is my risk tolerance? There are a lot of, it's deceptive. Immigration seems deceptively simple, right? It just seems like you're filling out these forms, but there's a lot of things you have to take into consideration. Are you eligible? Do you have enough proof? Are you following the steps properly? And sadly, it breaks my heart when I see individuals who set out on a path that they think they're eligible for, and it's the wrong path. And then they wait years or spend money and time to find out they have to start over, or they weren't eligible and there were other steps that need to be taken. So what's your risk tolerance, right? And then another thing, and I think the most important thing to ask yourself in deciding whether or not to hire an immigration attorney, and I say this because I went through an immigration process with my husband. I know what it feels like to get started. I know what it feels like to go through the process. I know all the emotions that are involved. And the more that you can focus on each other and your union and strengthen that relationship, instead of you both being stressed out about trying to put your case together and sending it and researching, that's time you're taking away from your union. So asking yourself, what do you want for your union? What do you want for your relationship? Do you want to have that time and energy to focus on your relationship? And would it feel better? Would it be better? Would it give you peace of mind to have an expert on your side that's taking care of all the paperwork, right? So some of the questions to ask yourself, and I can post that video, but thanks for being here today, Joshua. And you might, if you're just starting out, I encourage you, check out our free resource center at immigrationforcouples.com. Learn more about your options, and learn more about our firm and what an immigration attorney does. And that will help you in your decision-making process. And we even offer a free discovery call with one of our team members. Her name is Lisa. She's fantastic. She's not an immigration attorney. She jokes that she plays one on TV, but she can tell you more about what it looks like to work with us. That's the free discovery call, to learn more about what does it mean to have an immigration attorney helping you through the process, and what does it look like to work with our firm. So that's another option for you as well. All right. Thanks again for being here, and I hope that helps answer your question. All right. Okay, and then Mohammed, you were asking a follow-up question on the joint sponsor. There isn't a waiver of the joint sponsor requirement. Again, looking at assets, like I had said, is really going to be your next best step. And like I said, if you're wanting customized legal advice, you're welcome to book a paid consultation with me, and I can help walk you both through, look at the numbers that you have, and talk about options. Okay? You're very welcome, Joshua. I'm glad that helped. All right, everyone, I need to sign off, and I have a lot of clients to help here today, and I enjoyed spending time with all of you. Have a fantastic week. Stay tuned.